Hello, and welcome to Jarviskjir Rock of the North. The intro's music didn't play, but that's okay. I have no idea why. But hello, welcome to Jarviskjir Rock of the North, the first session of a brand new campaign with completely new faces all around, which hasn't happened since the conception of this fantasy setting. So, hello! I'm sure there's going to be a lot of new people around, both in... there's new people in the game, there's new people watching, etc, etc. So, I can tell you a little about this. Jarviskjir, we run a lot of D&D homebrew. If you are new to it, if you type !D&D in chat, in our live Twitch chat, some of the homebrew options come up. There's also !map and !wiki, where there's a lot of stuff going on. Jarviskjir is a setting with... there's been going on for a long time with lots of campaigns, lots of intermingling plot hooks, and a lot of slight differences on the D&D norm based on kind of what, you know, me and my players have wanted over the years. And here's a new step in the stories as well. A brand new story with maybe some ties to some other ones and other events happening in the world as well. And maybe some ties to the shameless shilling of Schism, Immolation of Ovenfur, the board game set in this universe, which will be coming to Kickstarter in about a week or so. Now you know about that. You will likely get to know everyone around a table soon enough, but why don't we start by setting the scene a little, right? This story takes place in the northern town of Lendr. A couple of years ago, this was just a hilltop town in one of the most northern parts of the continent. An area of the continent not often visited by outsiders. The locals are friendly, but not overly friendly, and the environment has got no shortage of creatures most people would call monsters, as well as blizzards, giants, in some areas, giant serpents that break out from the sheet ice. The north is not well visited or well known by the people of the heartlands of Jarviskjir, which you might see in some of the other shows. So Lendr was usually left alone, a town made by blacksmiths, Northman blacksmiths. But there have been a series of tragedies. First, the Immolation of Ovenfur. Hey, wait, that's the name of the game. That happened 8 years ago. And then the destruction of Slate Cove. Long story short, this small hillside town is now basically a city. The largest population of Northmen in Jarviskjir in one place. The population has tripled in size, the town has boomed. It has been 3 years to the day almost since Slate Cove was destroyed, and Lendr is much larger because of it. In that time, a lot of the people have kind of settled into their new normal. A lot of clan halls have been built, places for the semi-nomadic Northmen to rest and recuperate, maybe for entire half years at a time, while more people have settled and made it more of a natural township. It's a place that travelers can make themselves at home in, unlike a lot of Northman community areas, and is perfect for the group of travelers coming by. All of you, for some reason or another, have come across a fairly typical bounty board summons note. Yes, there are bounty boards occasionally and things like that, but this note was put up in blacksmiths, mercenary guilds, these sorts of places. The client for this job was only interested in professionals, so I don't really know how they ended up with you lot, but still. It's a little more alluring than most jobs, I think. You were summoned to the only bookshop in town, which is intriguing in its own ways for someone who has a bit more book learning. We'll start with Sir Vincent Ennius. This town is not as different as you thought it would be. You know, as you've been traveling, the difference between the Northmen here and the Yarvan humans of your home city are subtle. Overwhelming in some ways, but also comfortable in others, right? I mean, it's still a human population regardless of if the culture is different. You are making your way through the town, probably with your horse, right?
Correct.
Why don't you describe what Vincent looks like and what they're doing and what they're sort of thinking heading through town towards the bookshop?
So as Sir Vincent rides on Pearl, his chestnut mare, through the city, he's taking in all the sights, looking on the locals with compassion, taking them in, trying to figure out their way of life, and those, even if those differences are subtle, what those subtle differences are, so that he doesn't step on his own tongue later on. So he's just kind of watching and listening and taking all that in. But astride this chestnut mare is an older human. He is late 50s, early 60s, very good build, though still looks like he's worked many days under the sun. His skin is a little weather beaten. His hair is long and stringy and well kempt, but just kind of framing his face. It is very silvery gray, with little hints of the dark hair that once lied under it. His eyes are crystal blue, and he seems to be adorned in scale mail and wearing a shield over his back and a long sword on his side. The shield on his back bears an emblem to the Dragon King as he rides in, and he's heading in the direction towards this library. Books aren't really his thing. He hasn't put a lot of time and devotion into that, but to each their own, and he's willing to go see what this is all about. So he is heading in that direction.
Cool. Next up is actually going to be the local boy. As a small figure scampers their way through the streets. You know, by contrast, Vincent going around on horseback is not weird. Northmen don't often keep horses for riding in the same way, but it's not super weird. It's not uncommon. People know to get out of the way. It's not like The Witcher where you just plow through an entire street, maximum gallop. You know, but they're also wary of like, okay, you're an outsider, but you know, this isn't a Lovecraftian like outsider. It's just that sort of like, okay, someone new. Peep, however, as they're traveling through the streets, is well known. Not necessarily by everyone, but by enough people. As you travel through the kind of open marketplaces and past smokers and someone chopping wood, there'll be an old lady who's like, "Oh, Peep, make sure you get in. There's a chill coming. Make sure you get inside."
I will. Don't worry. I just got a few things to take care of. Just running down the street.
They will, like, someone next to the old lady will be like, "Who's that?" It's like, "Oh, that's the Morganac boy," and the guy's like, thoroughly confused. Why don't you describe yourself and what you're doing and what's going on?
So, Peep is a 2'7" tall kobold with lightly like gray blue mottled scales that go down to more white around the extremities. He's a little bit unwieldy as he's running through the street on his first big adventure on his own with a backpack that's a little, for most adventurers it's probably packing light, but for him it's like super heavy first day of school type stuff. And then the only way to have it not scrape along the floor is basically a great sword shoved down in between like an antenna to sort of keep it off the ground. So he's like running, trying to keep his balance while going through the street.
A full-size great sword. A full,
yes,
like
full-sized.
not a cop, like a full-sized great sword.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not shrunk down. It's not like a long sword that to him is a great sword. No, it's a full, proper great sword.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Cool.
he's just a little boy.
Just a little boy.
Just a little boy.
I think we have to directly contrast this with Sabriel, who is surrounded by inferiority. The climate is not a problem or anything like that. But the people, the noise, the smells. You don't expect this to be a big thing, and you're not making it a big thing either. Why don't you describe yourself and how you're feeling?
He's gone out for a milk run, so he's in his pajamas. He's a gold-ish colored elf with like some rose gold shiny shimmeriness to him. His hair is a similar color. Why is my phone ringing? He is wearing gold scale mail underneath some what he considers to be his casual robes, his casual like travel pajamas. He looks nicer than anyone in this town will ever hope to look. But he's on top of a what color? He doesn't even care about this horse. I don't know. White horse.
This horse is horse
with
colored.
no name. His horse is horse colored. He has no idea what this horse's name. His name is Horse. Its name is Roach.
Yeah.
It's on the roof. He found it. No, he's got a my brain has died. A Flamberge is a Zweihander, right? Yeah. He's got a Zweihander on his side in like a bluish sheathy thing, and he's just here to check something out and saw this notice. He's like, I guess it's maybe related. Everything here stinks. I want to go to where I actually need to be right now. There's somebody that I would prefer to be with and not these stinky humans.
You would think, anyone else going through a town like this in armor like this, it's not a bad neighborhood. It's not got a huge amount of crime anymore. But, you'd worry about traveling through a town in full gold armor. That doesn't even cross the mind of someone like Sabriel, because a human could never thieve from him. And they're too intimidated to even be near. While Vincent is, clearing a path, going through the street on a horse, as would happen, people are keeping, an incredibly wide berth of not only an elf, which are somewhat uncommon, but just clearly some kind of noble elf who glows in the sun somewhat. It's... Some people might even be muttering of, not quite prophecy, but of being sent by the spirits. In some
Is that
ways,
an incorrect statement?
In some ways, a similar reaction actually comes from Snow. Which I don't think this is your first time going to this town, right? You probably have dropped in a couple of times.
Yeah, he would definitely have been here before.
So, your presence turns heads. The people who don't know you, or maybe the people who do know you, have the same sort of awe. But to you, this is just normal. Maybe similar opinions to people like, well, I'm going out on my first rodeo, but it's a little different. It's almost directly the opposite, in fact. Why don't you describe yourself and what's going through your head?
Yeah, so I think probably as Snow is walking down the street, it's probably it's similar in some ways to Sabriel, but it's very different in others. For one, he has elf ears. However, these elf ears sit at the top of a 9-foot tall figure, dressed almost like a farmer or a lumberjack. Not really. It's basically the complete opposite of the golden armor. He essentially just has some trousers or shorts. I don't know, khakis. He has some.
He's wearing cargo shorts. You know?
No, he's basically got pants and whatever he has on his person, like a sling bag over his shoulder, and great sword kind of just strapped over his shoulder as well. But he's walking down the street looking very different than the other elf. And additionally, he has these sort of horns or this kind of crest coming from his head due to his heritage that I won't get into now. But he has these striking blue horns on his head, as well as some other kind of spots where this blue color is shining through on his skin.
Yeah.
And as he's walking through, he's definitely excited, but not actively showing it on his face.
Okay. What kind of resting face is this? Is this a resting bitch face, or a resting kind of like just staring off into space, or a resting smile?
I don't think he has a resting smile. It's probably a much more neutral face, but it's definitely not a frown either. It's
Okay.
just probably fairly neutral.
I think I can imagine one character has a resting bitch face here. So you actually end up all coming from different directions towards this bookshop. It's fairly central. If you imagine Lendr was a town built on a hill, like an old hill fort, and now it's kind of spread around it, mostly south. You even probably passed the wall that would have been the border before. The bookstore is kind of just past that wall. So for Snow, who's come from the north, the forest side of town, you're coming from that way. Vincent's coming from the south, Savriel's coming from the west, and Peep is coming from wherever. It doesn't matter when you're a kobold, you just get places. So, the four of you end up in front of this bookstore all at the same time. Let me describe the bookstore before you gaze upon each other. It's a very simple building. All of the buildings here are relatively simple from an architectural standpoint. The older ones have a little more design to them. When it comes to something as you imagine a bookstore, it doesn't look like what you'd imagine a bookstore to look at like, other than it does have the words bookstore in common under the name of the shop, which is Smart Mantles. This is in common text. You only just realize now, Vincent, this is probably some of the first common text you've seen on the side of buildings or anything like that, which is a little weird. They do speak common here. It's just like the first writing you've seen. But it doesn't have a storefront. There's a door. There are windows. The windows are either so dirty or the inside so dark and piled with books you can't see in. Even though it's overcast, but there's still a lot of sun. The outside, it's kind of on a junction of the streets, so there is space outside for you to talk and meet. And there are two stone planters outside the door. Whatever was planted in them is dead and brown and faded, and there's just weeds growing out of them now, which kind of look cool in their own way, but they're not meant to be there. But they're protected a little bit from the snow. Lendr is a snowy town, and it is the start of winter, so it is snowing slightly right now. You four all reach the bookstore at the same time, more or less. If one of you wants to kind of like join the conversation a bit later, that's up to you. What are your reactions? What are the conversations? Let me know.
Peep kind of arrives, looks at all these much, much taller people. It's like, are you guys here for the bounty too? Huh?
Snow
Wow,
was
you're
kind
tall.
Snow would like look around and then realize that it's this small kobold talking to him, and be like, "You're here for the bounty?"
Yeah, it's my first adventure.
And he says, definitely not without. He'll respond and say, "With that weapon."
Yeah. People like takes off the backpack and there's like a clunk as the greatsword falls over. Yeah, this is mine.
Snow would just like look with incredulity, and then glance at the others.
Currently, the elf is doing the math lady meme right now, like trying to process what he just walked into. And currently contemplating turning around and leaving. He's like, why is the dog talking?
Vincent?
Sir Vincent will dismount Pearl and start to tie her off if there's a place nearby to tie her off. And he'll just kind of run his hand down the neck as he kind of looks over his shoulder back at this motley crew that has been assembled here. Not exactly what I was expecting.
Was that out loud?
Yes. I'll approach on that. Hello.
I'm Pete. What's your guys' names?
Sir Vincent Ananias, but you may call me Vince.
Vince. Are you a knight?
In a manner of speaking, yes. It's been a long time since anyone's called me that.
I've never met a knight before. That's so cool.
It has
Do
been...
your kind normally take bounties such as this?
Oh, me? Maybe? I don't know. I'm the only kobold I know. So, yes?
Well, that is a coincidence because you are the only kobold I know. So we have that in common.
Sabriel, who's just now figuring out this is a kobold. He's just like, it's not a dog.
My name is Snowcorn, but you can just call me Snow, as many here do. Yes.
Very well, Snow. It is a pleasure to meet you.
Pete looks over, and what's your name? Looking at Sabriel.
Who's still on his horse, by the way.
Still looking down with a signature look of superiority.
He's still like contemplating turning around and going to find Cal. He's just like, He just slides off the horse.
With like way less care than with Pearl. Yeah, it's like just.
Yeah, he does nothing quickly. Except for when he needs to, and he feels he doesn't need to right now. So he slides off of the horse whose name he doesn't care about, and looks down at the creature, the cretin that he has now been saddled with. Ollie, would he know real quick, title wise? Should he yes or no?
I think Sabriel would be aware, however disgusting, that his titles won't mean much here. Maybe amongst nobler folk, if you find a mayor or baron or something like that. But
That's what I thought.
This is a dog you're talking to.
Yeah, he's not gonna give the dog his title. He looks down at him. Yeah, my name is Sabriel. Little doggy.
I will respond to Sabriel in Elvish. It is a pleasure to meet your acquaintance as well.
He just looks at you. Tilts his head a little bit.
the funny part is my guy who has elf ears, Snow, he doesn't even understand this.
He responds back in Elvish. I don't know if it's a pleasure yet, but greetings.
Ah, you're one of those.
Care to explain?
Glass half empty.
Mm.
Today is a day for glory. We embark on something special here. Let's make our way inside and see what the day has to bring us.
Is this all in Elvish still?
Yeah, I'll leave that in Elvish so that the other people don't get the gist of you just yet.
Snow would like look down into the kobold and be like, "Do you understand what they say?"
Not a single word.
Okay, at that, Sabriel smirks and responds back to the human in Elvish. I see what you've done. All right, then, proceed. Then he says that in English.
I'll make my way through the front door of the bookstore. Do I knock? I'm not sure what the custom is here.
It is a store. It's kind of up to you. What do you think?
Nope. I'm just gonna barrel in.
The door does stop about halfway through, and you have to kind of give it a second shove. Yeah. But it does open up into the bookstore. Snow.
Yep. You
The
would
door
shrug
is
and-
not big enough for you.
Oh.
Just so you know.
Stoop down and.
And
Is it tall enough inside?
No, it wouldn't be.
Dude, does Sabriel need to duck down too?
Yeah,
Or
a
is he
little
good?
bit.
Okay.
You're skimming. You're skimming the roof in some places. It's not a uniform height all the way around. In fact, you can realize that while I don't know, I've been to bookstores like this where there are just piles of books, and one area is kind of blocked off by the pile, which means you kind of have to go through the left side of the building where there's spaces for reading. Now, this bookstore is in ill repair. It doesn't look so much like a store now, more like someone's personal library, but maybe that person has died and their family didn't want to look after the books, is kind of what it looks like. There is that smell of old book, and also of books partially rotting as well, but not to a really unpleasant level yet. There is gloom, but enough light does get through the windows that you can see, and as you guys entering does make a lot of noise because two of you don't fit and one of you is just, the rest of you are just loud in general. By the time you get into that kind of like reading space, which still isn't very big, it's probably a table for 3 people at best. From a back room, the bookstore owner and your client will come out. She is a young woman, and the first thing all of you would get, no insight rolls necessary, is that she hasn't slept in a long time. She has kind of a mid-tone brownish skin and slightly darker brown hair, which is just kind of frazzled in anti-bedhead, like she just hasn't slept to take care of any of it. She has bags under her eyes. She just looks... She looks like someone who is/would be very pretty, but just for some reason doesn't care about that right now. I mean, the clothes she's wearing, it is a kind of very attractive dress. It's just dusty and worn at this point. And it has kind of like a lace bit at the top, but there's also kind of like just like straps of the things she's holding as well. She looks very unkempt and very frazzled, and despite looking so tired, her eyes are wired and bright as she kind of looks at the 4 of you. And there's no like, oh, there's people. It's like, you're here for the job, you're here for the bounty, yes? That's good. That's great. You all look so different. And she'll kind of hover behind one of the chairs near the door. In a way that's like, hey, you guys should sit, but you can't all fit in this room right now. With just, somewhere you could sit on books. To be fair, what do you guys do?
There is a lady present, even though she is not in the most kempt state currently. She's still a lady, so I am standing. I'm not sitting.
Peep is going straight to a seat and sitting down.
Scrabbling on.
Yeah,
Snow will just kneel on one knee, you know.
Yeah.
He wouldn't fit in a seat anyways.
Sabriel's just gonna stay standing. He's not ever going to sit on a book, and this place is dirty.
Sabriel closest to the door.
Yeah.
She'll she doesn't do the thing where she looks at each one of you. No, she's just kind of like looks through some of you and then kind of just talks to the room. Her eyes constantly flicking from place to place, often to her hands, which are fidgeting with each other, largely. My name is Smartmantle. I put the job together. I need people who are able-bodied or able-willed to look into something for me. I can't explain why, I can't explain how, not yet, not in ways that you would be able to comprehend or understand, but I know that something bad is happening here, in the town, but outside the town as well. I'll send you outside of the town. There is a barrow, there is a ruin. I sense that something. I'm going to need your steel. Do you understand? I'll pay you. I know it doesn't make sense, but I'll pay you 120 gold pieces each.
We'll do it.
I'm sorry.
Is this? Can I? My brain just lost English.
You're role playing as an elf.
I've forgotten English. Do I think that this ruins, or can I put together that this is what I was going to look at anyway? With the temple?
It's not got enough information for you to even do a roll about it yet.
Okay.
I mean, your adventurer senses would be like, ruins is ruins. They're always related to whatever you're looking for.
He's just like, okay.
You've requested my steel. It is yours.
She
Snow.
looks at you with lucidity and, I guess, incredulousness, to use the word that was used earlier of like the knightly get-up. But it's not in a... She doesn't sound local to here. That would be something that some of you would catch. It's not a local accent, but she definitely doesn't appreciate the attitude.
Snow would be like, he would say, for what type of thing requires our steel, so to speak.
If I knew what it was, I would have been more specific on the bounty. But I don't. I don't know what it is exactly. I need more pieces to the puzzle. And that's where you come in. It's Brokewater Barrow. It's to the west. It's well known. It's on a cliff. It's a small place. It won't take long to investigate. And if you find something there, then that might be an answer, or people there, or things there. I don't know exactly what it is, but I just know. Just know there's something that requires my attention, and I could not possibly make a trek out through the snows No. I need to stay here. I need to study for the time being. You will go in my stead.
Do you have a map?
I don't have a map. Oh, I'm sure there's a map in here somewhere.
Would Snow know where this spot is? Because he's from somewhere around here.
Yeah,
right?
I think you would. I think just based off that brief description, you'd be like, yeah. So this region in general has a lot of old ruins under the snows, in the hills. Some are remains of the Age of Giants. This hopefully isn't one of those. Based on your memory, it was a small place, so probably not. But yeah, you actually have a bit of an inkling based on your just knowledge of living in this area.
Yeah, so then after the map comments, then he'll say, we shouldn't need a map. I remember where it is, roughly.
Would Peep know as well? Or is Peep just more know the town, but doesn't
More
know much
town.
outside it?
You're a town boy!
Town boy. So you can lead the way, and then we can help. We can do it. It's our
You
first
are very
adventure.
excitable.
I mean, this is an adventure. It's the first one I've been on. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
And then in Elvish, I'll say to Sabriel, see, he's one of his kind as well. Glass half full.
Snow would look down
I'm
at
too old for this.
Snow would look down at Peep and basically say fighting is not all fun and games.
True,
No.
but it's gonna be exciting. We get to help someone and do good.
Sabriel's having a flashback to the first time he said that.
Snow
You
shrugs.
know what happened.
800 years ago!
Somebody died.
Do you know, Peep? While you may just be the first kobold I've met in a while, you have quickly risen to be my favorite.
Yes.
Your can-do attitude is much larger than the sword you carry on your back.
That sword's already really big. No. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go.
He looks
Yes.
at the human.
Yes.
He looks at Vincent. He's riding with you for the moment.
Fine by me. Peep, have you ever been on a horse?
No.
Today's that day.
So many firsts. It's great.
I half expected him to ask what a horse was.
Yeah. What does it taste like?
What's a horse?
Snow, you are certain you can lead us?
Yes, I've traveled these parts enough that it should be fine.
Then we will follow your lead.
I guess Snow would look at the lady to see if she's gonna say anything else.
No, she's been disassociating for this entire conversation you guys have had, kind of
That's a
looking
mood.
at her fingernails, which did have black paint on them, that is just all chip at this point.
Why is this bookshop lady just me? Stop it.
I told you. I said, he was like, oh, should we dress up? And I was like, no, the first NPC you meet basically looks like me right now. So I don't need to do that.
I'm already relating.
I feel
Yeah.
seen.
But yeah. So I guess Snow would just kind of shrug and crawl out the door.
Shift your way out.
Yeah.
The building creaks a little bit as you make your way out the door frame.
I'm gonna dust myself off as I get out the door.
Excellent.
And yeah, once they're all on horseback and everything, I guess Snow would just start leading the way.
Well, first of all, if we need to see/hear Peep's reaction to being lifted up, put on a
Oh, yeah.
horse. Very important.
Okay. Okay. Guessing like Vincent will probably just grab Pete, lift him up, and up. Basically like as you would a toddler.
It's got to be, right?
Yeah.
So I'll just give him a little hoist up, whatever he needs to get the rest of the way to scamper up on the back of the horse. And then I'll take my position in front of him. All right, you have to hold on really tight.
Okay.
Grab a hold of the cloak and don't let go for any reason unless I say so.
Okay. I'm really sorry if I put claw holes in it.
It'll be fine. It's an old cloak. It's seen a lot of travel and a lot of days.
Okay. This is... we're high up. Okay.
Internally, Sabriel is doing that meme with the dog and the lady with the dog that she's had for 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
The
precious.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
He's looking at the kobold like with his resting bitch face, like gross, but internally he's like, shit.
Anything happened to Pete, I will kill everyone in this town and then myself.
I also love how immediately the dynamic of, oh, here's the two people that are going to be talking behind everyone's back in another language. Instant. You know, there's the dynamics. You know, we just got to work out who's going to be the pair that goes off and does crime while the people aren't paying attention. That's the other D&D dynamic we need.
It's not going to be Sabriel, I guarantee that.
There's a reason that Vincent is not quite the smart boy. He's the one that gets the wool pulled over his eyes, probably, I'd imagine.
Something.
If you guys stood out a little bit entering town, leaving as a group, definitely, because there's Sabriel, there's two horses with Sabriel on one and Vincent and Peep on the other, and then Sneokrion leading as a giant blood. Which is definitely interesting and definitely something that's going to be talked about, at least until you guys are known a little bit more in town. Like she said, you are going to be heading west. And as I said earlier, it is snowing. The snow is getting a little bit stronger. The clouds above a bit darker. Honestly, as you're leading Snow, I'll just straight up tell you, it's like, no, we'll be fine on this journey. You can taste it in the air, you can feel the pressure, these are the sorts of things you're very used to. You're used to the winters up here can be debilitating, but this will be fine for now. There might be a chance that you're gonna have to camp out in the burrow or something like that, but that's fine as well. And you can start leading. It's leading across Snowy Hill, honestly. Snowy Hills, you can see the Jotunskogr to the north, which looks like a sprawling forest at the bottom of some further mountains. And then just from every other direction is just snow. Just snow. Anything any of you want to do or want to chat about while on the road? Well, not road. This is all outdoorsman off-roading.
Snow would, at one point, just kind of like look over at Sabriel, and he hasn't really spoken to the elf directly, but he would just say, and definitely Sabriel would be able to detect like a hint of kind of sass, I don't know, but he would say, where are you from, elf?
He just looks down at himself for a moment, looks at the shininess of himself. Hold on, I forgot where I live.
You're like, it's so obvious. Everyone should know where I live, aside from me.
Ori, the player, is a dumbass. Where am I from?
Do you want me to tell you?
Is it on the map? Yes.
It's not on the map.
It's not.
You are from High Thundral. Thundral's on the map,
Yeah.
but not High Thundral.
He says that.
Okay. I don't think we actually ever discussed where the elven.
You would know of. So when Sabriel says High Thundral, you know Thundral. which is an elven city to the south. I don't know. I don't even know if Snow really knows or remembers. But you would know of it. It's kind of nearly directly south from here. Nearly.
Yeah. Okay. He would just basically, I guess, go like, huh. Wouldn't even say anything to this.
Mm-hmm. And since we're now inquiring as to what I thought was a fairly obvious question, where are you from, my dear? Looks him over for a moment, trying to figure out exactly what he is.
Yeah, that's a good question. Would any of them even know what I am?
No. So here's the thing. Humans. Yeah, everyone knows what a human is, and at least on the surface. When we get to the Wednesday campaign, you don't want to know what they're saying about humans. Kobolds as well. You would know of kobolds. Your opinion of kobolds depends on where you're from, but they are vermin. They can live everywhere. Elves? Yeah, everyone knows what an elf is, but no one knows what Sabriel is. Sabriel is separate. And giant blood are a phenomenon that really the only person who would have a good reason to know about it would be Peep. But Peep is young and not, experienced enough. We talked about Sabriel might know another giant blood, but then it's like, why would Sabriel go to the quick assumption? Well, it depends how much Sabriel hates you. Whether they would assume you're cursed or not. Because to a sun elf or any elf, being a giant blood is being cursed. So no. People you guys don't really know what you are as other people. So the feeling is at least mutual between the two of you.
Well, and definitely I think Sabriel, because Snow's not trying to hide this really, he definitely has a bit of, not contempt, it's not that serious, but a little bit of he's kind of I don't know what the word is, apprehensive about Sabriel openly, but mostly just his facial expressions and stuff.
He doesn't care.
Yeah, that's fair. But you asked me where he's from, and he would just say, Snow would just say, I'm from around here.
Indeed. It may come to pass that we find ourselves needing to use our steel. Should we maybe discuss what we're capable of in a said situation, or are we just going to wing it? Because I'm for it either way, but, up to you guys.
I just swing my sword.
Mostly
I've never really hit
same.
anything with it, though.
As long as you put the pointy end away from you and towards the bad guys, then I am okay with you swinging said sword. Just watch out for the rest of us.
I'll do my best.
I'm multi-purpose. We'll just leave it at that. I can heal. I can swing the sword.
I've only ever fought in, a skirmish here and there myself, but normally those that fight me tend to go for me a lot. Then he kind of just motions to his height. I don't know.
You do stand out amongst the rest of us, certainly. But I'll do my best to protect your blind side.
I appreciate it. You seem a sensible tactician. Vince, it was?
Indeed.
Sabriel's just smirking at the tactician part. He's not gonna say anything.
Yeah, you're not gonna get to know Sabriel's thoughts until session 20.
No. So he has to formulate his thoughts by that point.
Sabriel's just
It's gonna be an
smirking.
episode in a tavern. We're gonna go to a tavern and get drunk, and that's when Sabriel's gonna actually come out of their shell and be nice, and then when they wake up in the morning, they're just gonna say nothing happened. You heard nothing.
It's
Shit's
possible.
gonna come out when he's drunk, though. That's the problem. It's not gonna be nice. It's gonna be something else. It's gonna be depression TM.
Well, as you're thinking about depression TM, Snow, you can see through this. Snow, you can see through the snow very easily, very well. To the rest of the party, they wouldn't be able to see the Barrow yet. But you can. Like Smart Mantle said, it sits upon, I guess, what you would call a cliff. It's almost part of an oubliette, when a cliff kind of stretches out and then also comes back down. Don't worry, Barrow isn't on the end bit. It's on the cliff top. And below it is actually a very slow-moving... It's not even really a river, it's just kind of where snowmelt approaches. It's actually somewhere, Snow, you would know it's not safe to drink. The water that accrues down here below this cliff. The burrow itself, the Barrow Burrow, used interchangeably, kind of just looks like an old stone, vaguely pyramid-ish shape, actually. To the point that if you weren't paying attention in the snow, you would just think it's kind of the shape of the cliff, right? But you know better. And you can approach the point, despite the snow, everyone can see it. Noticeably, the shape of the building and the cliff keeps the worst part of the snow over there, to the west. It's actually starting to pick up into a real blizzard over there, but the wind doesn't quite get to you guys on the east of the building. You are approaching. There is a bit of a courtyard in front where there are fallen pillars and bits of kind of an arched wallway, like it would have been a wall of arches around the front of the building in a courtyard. How are you guys going to approach this? What's your plans?
I will speak up and say we should probably tie the horses off here and go the rest of the way on foot.
Sounds reasonable.
Yeah. Are there any like just small clumps of trees anywhere around?
Yeah, there's usually a tree within throwing distance of a giant blood. There are these particular kind of yellow-leaved trees in the area that are quite hardy. So you could tie the horses up in a bit of protection and continue on foot.
How deep is the snow?
Oh, jeez.
So I just want to say, Peep is gonna like just get up, like stand, and then jump off the whole, like do a little hop off, and I can just imagine him just going straight in.
For comedy purposes, that is
Disappearing.
exactly what happens.
How?
I'll reach down into the snow and grab him by the back and just kind of pull him back out of the snow.
Just like
I got you,
hitting by the
little
scruff
buddy.
of the neck. Thank you.
Perhaps the child should ride on someone's shoulders. Looks at Snow.
Yeah. Snow is like
Ab-
clearly a little bit not nervous, but like a little uncomfortable with this. But he kind of shrugs, and he's like, "If it must."
Awesome.
Okay. I'm guessing I like sort of
Climb.
waddle through. Yeah, just climb up. Like sorry, it's because like, just like claws just accidentally
Like a
scratching.
cat.
Yeah, just like sorry.
He's like,
Nice.
"Mm."
sorry.
Yeah. And
The leaves on the tree that you mentioned, have I seen those before? Are they normal to my area, or
There
are
would
these
be
slightly
some.
different?
Yeah, this
Okay.
type of tree would be because your home city of Northenden is a
Right.
similar climate to this place. But the thing, so you know how I mentioned how the shape of this cliff keeps the wind away. The entire city of Northenden is behind a mountain, so the real cold winds don't hit the city. So it's cold, but not this cold, right? It doesn't get the worst of it. So yeah, you would actually be familiar with a lot of the flora and fauna in the area until you get to really cold places, and particularly the island of Oakenfur, which is meant to be even more separate, just being an island, which you aren't on.
Okay.
Okay. You four can approach the courtyard in front of the Barrow. This is where there is actually an area of much less snow. There's still some snow, but it's mostly replaced by gravel, basically. And as you approach, you can hear the groaning of the blizzard beyond the Barrow. And also the groaning of the Barrow itself, as if the building wind whistles through it, like a haunting moan. But then you also hear yipping and growling. And no, it's not Pete. Although that might be your first instinct. As you approach the Barrow, the kind of archways outside the building, some of them are collapsed. And from one of the collapsed ones, 2 animals are angrily kind of growling at you. They are badgers. Of large size.
Oh no.
Oh
Just-
yes.
So bigger than Peep.
Are they honey badgers?
No.
That right there,
I'm British.
that is
These
gonna
are
be the
British
benchmark.
badgers.
Oh,
That is going
okay.
to be the benchmark for all size of creatures for the rest of the campaign. Is it bigger than Peep?
Bigger than Peep, smaller than Snowcorn. You know, there's a good level. No, these are British badgers, black and white stripes, but they are extra large, extra tasty versions. And they're growling. They're very aggressively protecting their territory, which badgers do. Very aggressively. Like, you're not even... Maybe you're just about 60 feet away, and they're growling at you.
Does anyone have a plan of action to deal with this?
There's a soft like poof, as you just see like Peep's great sword is just like thunked onto the ground, just like lifting it back up.
Well, there's one vote.
Snow would kind of put his hand over the sword first and basically be like, let's discuss this first. They are just animals, after all, defending what is probably their nest or burrow. It's only a nest.
The badger eggs need protection.
Well, does anyone have anything that's going to make them forget that we are near the nest that they are protecting?
Would Snow, I mean, so Snow, has he run into badgers like this before?
Badgers live in the
area.
area, yeah.
Would he know
it's
if
up
there's likely to be a way around them?
It's up to an animal handling roll, or it'd actually be a nature roll to know if you know a trick. Animal handling to just go up there like Chris Pratt and try to tame the badgers. But a nature roll to see if you know something.
I'm gonna do a nature roll. I don't think Snow's first thought would be to try to tame them, because he's
Try
gonna.
to clever girl it.
Because he, you know, he respects like nature and natural animals, so he wants to just leave them alone if possible. So, here's my roll, I guess.
Go ahead, first roll of the campaign.
Yeah, I accidentally messed up the title card earlier too. Sorry about that.
That's a good roll! A 16! You kind of look around at the area, you look at the burrow, and you look at the barrow. The badger burrow, the ruined barrow, and they're kind of in the corner of the courtyard, and if you were slow and careful, you could make it into the barrow without them troubling them. A lot of animals like this, when they're kind of rearing up, when they're puffing up, you know, if you just keep it slow and you keep your distance, they're not going to bother you, right? They are protecting their territory. In fact, it actually looks like something maybe attacked their burrow recently. actually, on closer examination, a large chunk of one of these archways looks like it fell recently, probably on top of where they have a little burrow, because it's kind of just the way the gravel and the earth has been upturned in the area, and that's probably why they're extra aggressive. You know better than to assume that a part of a ruin would just fall off like that on its own, especially before the blizzard hits. But you know, way past, you kind of get a bit of an inkling of like what's up these guys' asses.
Yeah, Snow would definitely be after like kind of studying the situation for a second, would say, I think they're just defensive. It looks like it seems like they this isn't the first time they've had to defend their home, and it's possible we could go around them. It looks like, well, animals such as this normally won't pick a fight if they don't have to. If we go slowly and don't present ourselves as a threat. He kind of looks down at Pete like, with that last part.
Okay, and Pete has like take the scabbard off, put it on the ground, and then slide the great sword in, and then strap the scabbard back on.
Ori adores him. Ori adores him. Sabro's like, this is going to. He just, like,
I'm
internally.
gonna take my sword and my shield out and just have it ready just in case, but I'm not gonna at all kind of advance on them with it out. Like, I'm just having it out in case something else surprises us, or in case they decide it's go time, and then it'll be go time. But I am not actively aggressing or trying to be aggressive towards them.
Yeah, Sabro's not taking any weapons out right now.
And so I guess if the rest look ready, Snow would kind of like slowly start walking around the other side of the courtyard, like you said, or just very slowly going. He'd probably try to like make himself lower the ground so he doesn't seem as much of a threat. I don't know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Can you give me a perception check, Snow, while you're doing that? I imagine the rest of the party will peeps on the shoulders. I imagine Sabriel and Vincent will slowly kind of follow in this circle.
Okay.
As you're walking, you have the difference. Are you barefoot?
Probably.
I was imagining barefoot.
Yeah, probably.
You feel the difference between the snow and then the gravel, and then a different type of texture on the ground, and you look, and you've just stepped on a grave. Outside the barrow, right by the door, there are 2 graves. They do have gravestones, but there's no writing on them. Just kind of signifiers. And then to your side, you can see, and this actually was this is something everyone can see, the metal gate to the barrow, which was 2 parts, is on the floor, on the gravel. It's more obvious when you're approaching, because you can see it clearer through the snow and the stone. Just leaving the entrance to this place wide open. That said, it wasn't sealed anyway. There were open windows without glass. It's impossible to tell if this is neglect or bad men's inside.
The graves themselves, do they look fresh, or they've been here for a while?
They look old. They look as old as this place. Maybe a little bit newer.
Okay.
But then this place doesn't look horrendously old.
If you would like, we should, I think, maybe go to file. We'll have Peep on Snow's shoulders, and I can stand abreast next to him, and then Sabriel can step in behind.
That's fine. Ollie, am I getting any vibes from my friends, by the way?
I think that would be a wisdom check. A
Yeah,
wisdom
just a-
vibe check.
Just a
Sabriel's
straight
unique
wisdom
mechanic.
check.
You sense the dead in this place. The spirits that you are accustomed with are not unfamiliar with the spirits of this place, but neither give you a warning of aggression or peace. So,
Rip.
Oh no, did Yoshi fall down?
Yoshi died.
Oh no.
I'm assuming, well, so for, trying to think actually. So sorry.
Do you want to go through the door, Snow? What's the... And this door is big enough for you. It's double wide, it's large, it's got a peak tip.
I'm assuming, by the way, that it looks very dark down there, right?
It is unlit, but there are windows, and actually, just glancing in, you can see the snow-blinding light deeper inside. It's only like 2 chambers with no dividing wall between inside from the looks. And it looks like there's light and darkness. It's not like you're going into an incredibly dark place. You know, there was a window before and a window after, so...
Yeah, I suppose that Snow would probably take out his greatsword now, just out of caution.
Is it to scale with you?
Probably not. I don't think he's had the money or the means to
or anyone
get
to
one
make,
made.
you know, someone that likes you enough to make something your size. Cool.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, it's probably like the biggest greatsword he could get his hands on that was normal.
Yeah. It's not a large size weapon. Okay, cool. Good to
No.
know.
Yeah. And yeah, I guess he would just kind of
Slowly step inside.
Yeah.
As you do, you can look through in the gloom. You can see that on the right, and everyone can see this, even if you don't have dark vision, it's gloomy, but there's enough light to see. Maybe not details. To the right, there is vines of a tree or some kind of root that have just eaten away at the stone, and a big hole in the wall that drops down into the water below. So when I mentioned there's kind of a pool below the cliff, it's just a drop. And there's actually some things kind of snagged in the roots. It's kind of hard to see what they are in the darkness, just shapes and lumps. And there are shapes upon the walls that look like coffins, essentially. Usually they are up against the wall, either upright or kind of side on. Enclosed, they are made of ceramic. They are made of like ceramic plates. As the lot of you get a little further in, you hear the sound of a large creature moving and then the blustering of the blizzard. And you see just the shadow of something just through a hole that they have made in the furthest left side of the building. Whatever that creature was very large, and you can just see its big silhouette kind of trunching off into the snow at a pretty fast pace.
Mega Badger.
Mega Badger.
The building creaks and groans because the hole that was made that's a recent... Looks like the creature broke in the wall. You can kind of hear the stone creaking. There's parts still falling. There's rock dust in the air, and you can kind of taste it.
Do we go after that? Is that what we're here for?
I think, maybe.
Snow would be like, we should investigate whatever it was.
And this thing just ran out of the building we just walked into, correct?
It just ran out on the other side into the blizzard at a pace kind of faster than any of you could run, especially in the snow. Like, even...
Does it look like it's running from something?
It was definitely... insight roll. I would say disadvantage, because you're doing it on memory of a glance. So, re-roll with disadvantage. This is the rule of Eric. This is learning as a new Jarviskjir thing.
6.
No, that doesn't count. We want to use the roller when it says advantage is advantage.
Okay.
So you roll
my
both
bad.
at once and we can compare. If you roll the wrong one, we re-roll it. That's just the rule we do here. So that we always live in
13.
society. 13?
Better. That's good.
It is alright. It was definitely running. You know, it was, and not in a, well, duh, but like, no, it was trying to move at a very fast pace, you know, very deliberately. Either away from something or, maybe it got something and wanted to leave quickly. You don't even know if it noticed you guys were here.
Okay.
So it didn't seem like it noticed we were here at all.
Hard to tell. Impossible to tell now. It's completely out of sight in just the white of the blizzard.
Well, should we progress through here, or... Well, I doubt we'll catch that thing as fast as it was moving.
No.
Yeah, we probably can't do that. But we can explore the rest of this place.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we were hired to do.
No, we'll just shrug and continue, I guess. Yeah.
When you make your way further, you notice that there's a central coffin that's open. The skeleton inside is on its back in a full suit of chainmail. It's worn with time. Humanoid. And assumedly it must have been recently opened, because they wouldn't have kept someone like this unless this place was tomb robbed, which people in this local area, Snow, you would know, don't rob a tomb. Only bad things can happen to people robbing a tomb.
Does it look like there's anything noticeably missing from inside the tomb?
Yeah, inside the coffin it looks like the skeleton was holding something. It is laying side by, like, and it still has the armor, the sword. There is like a buckler, but it looked like as you would lay someone to rest, you have them hold something, you know, flowers or a holy symbol or something. Whatever that was is not there. It's noticeable by the dust. It's noticeable by just the way the skeletal hands are resting.
Well, this has been taken. All right. So, in the room that we're in, does it look like there's other entrances and exits out of this room?
Just
into other parts?
If the walls were still intact, there would be no other exit. But
okay, so just that
the
hole
creature
in the
that
wall
left
door.
made a hole in the wall. Yeah.
Are there footprints or anything?
You can give me a investigation check.
I am going to grab a hold of my the ring that's around my neck. It is a ring of a horned a dragon with a tail at the end of it. It looks very much like a wedding band, but he grabs a hold of it, and I'm going to activate Divine Sense and see if there's any undead or what was it? Undead,
Fiends,
celestial fiends.
Yeah.
Within 60 feet of me.
Oh, absolutely. As Sabriel kind of wanders around, looking to see if there's anything on the floor, you make that connection with your faith, looking for warding protection, for forewarning against evil, and you feel it. You feel evil jaggedly rising, and you only have enough moments to kind of prepare yourself, maybe ready your weapons, and probably doing that everyone else kind of gets that like rush of adrenaline before the coffin lids on the sides of the wall are gonna pop out, and skeletons are going to start clambering out. But before we do that, I think we should have a little break. So,
Alrighty.
It's zombie badgers, yeah.
it's
Ian got it.
It's
The
the Badger
badgers were doing
Society gravesite. Yeah, that's why they're pissed
Someone
outside.
robbed-
They're mourning.
Someone robbed the badgers.
This is just badger on badger crime. All right, we're gonna be 5-7 minutes, then we'll be right back.
Really odd.
Oh. Thank you, closed captions, for saying "Don't live in a freezer." Very cool. Very appropriate for
Very
snow
cool.
campaign. Very cool. Okay.
Eh.
I am going to want you to, when this map loads, find yourself and then click on yourself and roll initiative.
Listen, Sabriel spent the last 900 years trying to find himself. Okay, give him a minute.
Now, I don't know whether it's working because I can't find you guys on stream yet. So give me a sec.
This makes sense for
Oh.
people to have low initiative because he needs to get down from snow and then pull out the greatsword and then get ready.
Can you guys
What'd I
see
roll?
where your characters are or not?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did
Oh,
mine
shit.
not go through?
I'm the one who bungled it. Okay, I need to fix this.
Yours is 15.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
if you don't click on your character, it doesn't go through on roll 20.
Oh, there
but,
it is. Okay.
No, I need to fix
No, I'm just blind.
the map first, because chat won't be able to see anything. But it's being slow,
Oh, yeah.
so give me a little bit. Hoi, oi, oi. Okay. This should
Never
work.
mind. I found
The
it.
badgers are on the map.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Oh,
Boys.
a classic trilogy of error. Okay.
This is one of those moments where I miss my druid.
Yeah, any
Command
nature-based caster would have been like, "Oh yes, I'll talk to the animals."
Listen, Nadine would have been all over that shit. Nadine would have been like, "Hi, my babies. Would you like to come join my animal army?"
And then I get to do some
And they'd have
sweet
been like,
badger
yes.
role-playing. It's what I've always wanted.
So there's a reason why one of my Twitch emotes is an upset stoat, because we were playing the Curse of Strahd game and on my Twitch channel, and Nadine had turned into a stoat, but of course no one else could understand what she was saying, so I was pantomiming everything. And at one point, upset stoat noises got said, and like the sentence upset stoat noises, and then from that point forward, anytime anything was done in animal form, it was upset insert animal name
I
here
do
noises.
have a good talk with animals story while I'm slowly doing admin work so that the stream functions. One time the party, it was one of the first parties, were exploring an underground cave and wanted to know if they were looking for someone, and they found a giant snail, technically a beast, right? Could talk to that, and they asked the giant snail if they'd seen anyone suspicious. And then so I start speaking as a snail would, nice and slow, and it took about 10 minutes for them to realize the snail was describing the party. It's like, I have seen someone suspicious. Yeah. It took a while. It was good.
That's really good.
All
Yeah.
I can think of now is the snail from Darkwood. That creepy thing.
I haven't played
I'm also
Darkwood yet.
just
That's
thinking
that's my Halloween in December game. I'm not doing
I'm
Halloween
just
in
thinking
October.
of,
I'm not ready.
Dory talking to a whale.
Yeah. Ooh.
Let me reload.
When I in the games I've DM'd, there's been one or two times where they've talked to animals, like they talk to like a chipmunk, and I just had it. I always play my animals just like they're like, "Oh, do you got anything to eat?" Like they're always just like they don't care.
They want
if
to
you
eat.
don't
They
have
want to
food
fuck.
give them.
That's
Yeah,
that's
like-
animals.
So, one of my players had talk with plants,
Oh right.
and so
yeah.
they were in town, and there was a blade of grass in the street, and they decided to talk to the blade of grass to see if it knew anything. So then they asked the blade of grass what his name was, and I had to go along with it because they used to speak with plants, and the ship poster in me couldn't not. And so his name was Steve, after Bob Ross's son. But Steve had the worst voice ever. I hate myself for it. But they eventually dug Steve up, convinced the Earth Goddess to make him a awakened plant, and that she turned him into a baby tree ant, who then went and stole one of the vampire lord's mounts, which is a nightmare. So now there's an image floating around of Steve, the tiny treant paladin who looks like Groot riding a nightmare, because he stole the nightmare in combat.
You are not going to get any shenanigans of that level here, I assure you.
Is Peep still on my shoulder, by the way?
Yes.
Okay,
At least
yeah.
at the start of the fight. Alright, I have
like
finally managed to control the techno spirits, and we have got in, and you guys are outsped by the skeletons. Although I honestly want to give Vincent a surprise round on him, because you did use paladin powers. So I will, because it's my game. So, what do you want to do immediately, basically knowing that the skeletons are going to start coming to life all over?
So immediately I will, as I feel that you all see as his eyes kind of go this shining bright blue in the darkness, and as he clutches that symbol, you see his entire facial expression change and kind of backs up. I'm just going to back up towards Sabriel here and present myself with the sword and shield just ready to fight. And then I would like to cast Compel Duel on the one that was just about to come out at me.
Cool. Go ahead and click that so I can see it in chat. You're gonna make me open the stat block. Okay. Compel Duel. Wisdom saving throw.
Oops. That's what I'm going to do. Sorry about that. That's not what I'm going to do.
Oh, you want to do Shield of Faith instead?
No. I didn't mean to do that. I was trying to close that down.
No, it's tricky. Okay. It's gonna fail. So you didn't get an attack. Like the skeleton couldn't attack you yet because you basically moved as it was, starting to rise from its coffin, right? But you can immediately feel the connection as you cast this miracle and this prayer. Not that you're like telepathically linking it yourself to or anything, but it's like, okay, no, it's bound it. Which is great because that one is the only one that's armored, helmeted, all of that. The rest are just wearing rags and scraps, if anything.
So as the light dies out of his eyes, he'll grab a hold of that holy symbol, his shield in between them. You and me, buddy. Let's go.
And hell yeah, he's gonna come at you. He's gonna kind of push forward. He has a long sword, and he's gonna swing at you. What is your armor class, Vincent?
18.
Yeah, so its first strike, you can instantly and quite easily kind of throw your shield in the way. It is attacking as a swordsman would, which means you can parry as you would against a swordsman. The other two skeletons here are going to rush forward with their swords. With surprising speed, but not grace. They're kind of awkwardly hobbling, but at the speed of someone who doesn't need to worry about, breaking their tendons or anything like that.
With my shield drawn, can I use my reaction to put disadvantage on that with my shield master feat on that attack against Sabriel?
Go ahead and click that.
Okay.
Because that's a maybe. That might depend on how we rule our distances on things. But maybe.
Oh, this one didn't get put in that way. Here, let me just... There you go. Let me try to find that in the actual thing.
So the way we do here in Jarviskjir is, that your usual 5-foot melee range is just on the cardinal directions. For attacks. But that would make Shieldmaster a lot less useful. So I'll say yes for now because it's badass. But I'll say I'll think about it, but I'll probably forget. So I'll roll again for disadvantage.
Sorry, it's not that one. It is.
That was shove. You're right.
Yep, that's the
I think
shove
it's
one.
still going to be the same bit.
It's the fighting style protection. That's what it is.
Oh, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, protection is absolutely fine. Cool. Protection can work that way then. The shove one will keep to cardinal.
Okay.
And actually, the disadvantage really mattered. It was going to be one of those things where Sabriel is an elf and reacts to things at the speed of elf, even when combat starts. So maybe this is even a situation where you just parry the first skeleton and you kind of have to, deflect the second one strike before Sabriel, which is certainly cool. And then this one up here is going to attack Snorkor. And what's your AC?
12.
12. It gets a 10, so it's gonna miss.
Oh, let's go.
It's just enough. And then honestly, with that difference and the way you are, it's probably one of those things where, like, yeah, the sword scratches you, it just doesn't do anything. There's just like a little white streak on your skin as it's slightly agitated. Sabriel! The skeleton attacking you was blocked. What would you like to do?
Question: my channel divinity, I can't. It doesn't. Is it an action or a bonus action?
It'd be an action.
Okay.
If it doesn't say, I meant to say it's an action because I know it's a homebrew
Yeah, it
one.
doesn't say. Yeah, it doesn't say. I'll edit it later.
Yeah.
In that case, he's not gonna do that yet. That would reveal too much. He's going to.
The game.
He'll talk to his invisible friends. He won't reveal them yet. He's just gonna pull his flamberge and swing with one hand so he can get his extra radiant damage. Do that hit?
That is a miss.
Okay.
Oh no, Sabriel acting all high and mighty. Not only nearly gets blindsided by a skeleton, but misses.
That's fine. Listen, it wouldn't be the first time. That's all he's gonna do then.
Okay. Admittedly, it is cooler than just a missing. This is start of a sword duel between elf and skeleton, but it's already lasting a little longer than you might like.
Yeah.
Snow. The one before you, very tiny skeleton. It's probably a couple inches higher than 5 feet.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he would. So he already had his sword out, but he didn't have it at the ready. But quickly he realizes it's fight time. So he will just kind of like quickly, not, I don't know, just like say up to the kobold, like, let's see if you can use your weapon. And then yeah, he'll actually will go into a rage, which for him is not so much like screaming barbarian rage. It's almost like you can hear like grunts because he's exerting more effort.
Yeah.
And he's just, yeah, it's not like all over the
Muscle
top. But you
mode.
can hear him grunting. Yeah, or he just goes like, ugh, like as he's swinging, clearly putting his all into it. And we're gonna see if he can hit.
Looks like it's gonna be an exciting bout.
Nope, he cannot hit.
That is going to be a failure. Dealing a ton of damage to the wall. You just crunch the sword into the already broken chunk of wall and just more stuff comes down, which is terrifying even if you miss. Unfortunately, these are skeletons. Although skeletons, skeletons, at least in this form, are quite intelligent combatants. And it does, like, back up slightly, like, as it's kind of circling you, like, when you do that. Anything else you'd like to do?
No, I guess if I could like lower one of my arms after the attack so that Pete can like slide down it. You know?
Yeah. I can't let you have the bullshit of small character riding big character around as a mount in session 1.
Yeah.
Okay?
Can he slide down,
Yeah,
surf
makes sense.
down his arm?
Yes.
Can he just
That's
surf
allowed.
down his
Yeah.
arm?
Yeah.
Falling is a free action. before we get there, is Vincent.
All right, so Vincent is going to level his longsword at the creature he's compelled to the duel. So he's going to swing at him first with one hand on the sword. Maybe. Oh, there it goes. Sorry, it took a minute.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Okay, sorry about that. It lagged up on me there for a second.
Yeah, it'll do that every now and again. We'll count the first one, which is a hit.
Okay. So I will swing at him, and then with my bonus action, I'm going to push that attack and drive my shield into that one and push him back 5 feet as a bonus action.
Cool. Does he make a save against that?
It just pushes him 5 feet. There's no save on that one.
This is the shield master, right?
That is the shield master. Yes.
Yeah. It says try, which weirds me out.
Yeah, it is kind of oddly worded, but I didn't see anything in there about it. If you want to give it a save and throw, it's your world, it's your game. I'm down with it. Just let me know what you want me to do.
When does wizards not oddly word something?
Yeah, I'll allow it for
Trust me.
now. We'll glance at it another time, because again, it's cool.
And then I'm going to follow that attack and kind of step next to the one that is on Sabriel, and then kind of press into the one that I've got compelled to duel me in his face.
Hell yeah! So
for glory! Ha ha!
Proper swordsmanship. Peep, real sword fighting is happening
This is it.
over there.
This is it.
Against skeletons.
Peep is, like, slinging the backpack off, and like the scabbard is just gonna fall off the greatsword, sliding down Snow's arm. They're gonna take a jump. I'm just gonna move down, so like I'm here. But can I make it so as I'm coming off, I'm doing like a jumping like swing down?
Ruler cool. Yeah, and if you have enough movement, which I think you would, you could get here and get advantage. So you could essentially jump over the skeleton.
Over the top. Oh, and that makes it like it's a normal hit, because I have disadvantage because it's a heavy weapon and I'm small.
Yes, exactly.
So it's a normal hit. Let's go! Shit!
Yeah, you make this amazing display and you swing and the skeleton just kind of like raises the sword up and it's just cling! And you land.
I just overshoot. Dunk. I think that's it.
I think that is it. Okay. Skeleton time. The armored one, you're fighting Vincent, is noticeably injured at this point. It's making the motion of ragged breathing. Its jaw hangs low. And there is actually kind of almost a mist that comes off it. And the skeleton that's like dueling Sabriel kind of is like looking at the armored skeleton in almost worry, right? There's no expression on the faces because they don't have faces, but they are emoting in a way. It is going to attack you. It is going to hit. Where the fuck are the rest of my dice? Here they are.
It's me
They're under
every
some
time I
chocolate.
DM.
And it is going to be a strike with a long sword, and it's going to be 7 slashing damage against you, Vincent. So a pretty deft strike as it's fighting back. It took a little bit for it to get kind of its legs in this fight, but it managed to get there. The one fighting Sabriel is going to attack him, and just completely... It's like one of those things where Sabriel is 900 years old. You know every sword fighting technique you would possibly need to know of a long sword, and it's a skeleton doing basic commands. It goes for a very simple maneuver, and you just like disarm the sword out of its hand, and it's just... Yeah, it fumbled. Don't worry. I don't always fumble. I'm a very gentle fumble DM. But
did you want me to do the Constitution save to maintain concentration on?
Yes, please. Yeah.
I did not.
Oh no, it didn't stay up.
So
but
that is now gone.
And then the one between Snow and Peep. It's not really even going to acknowledge Peep. It's going to attack Snow. And it's also going to miss. This one is more of an actual miss as you're moving and fighting, rather than it just sort of scraping you. Sabriel.
Second burst, same as the first. Maybe I won't whiff it. Does that hit?
Doesn't come through on my end yet. 15 is a hit.
Okay, I need to roll my radiant damage. So, what is it? Oh, I don't need to roll it. It's 4 radiant damage on top of the 7.
Where's that coming from?
The flash strikes on the cleric.
Go ahead and click it. And describe it.
Oh, okay. I gotta actually, English. Okay.
This is a new thing that no one has seen before. No one
Yeah.
in the room, at least.
So Sabriel pulls his really nice looking Flamberge Zweihander words, and he looks at the skeleton who just whiffed it, and he's just like bored and done with this, and he just swings it one-handed, and as he does, it lights up with like sunlight coming, like trailing it, and he just smacks the shit out of it.
Flicks it. Cool. The skeleton does take the hit. It remains standing. Anything else you'd like to do?
No, nobody's hurt, so he's not gonna do anything else.
Snow.
Yeah, so Snow is just gonna appreciating that even if the skeleton is mostly focused on him, at least Peep is like smacking it from behind or attempting. But Snow will now try to make use of that and try to hit himself since he missed as well.
All right, you have advantage because
Okay.
Peep is giving you flanking.
All right,
That
let's
little
see what I
dude.
can do.
Little dude is helping the big
boy.
dude. It's a hit. It
Yep.
deals all of that damage. Not enough to... actually, no. I tell a lie. The skeleton is instantly reduced to a pile of bones. Just with the sheer force of the strike. I don't even
Yeah,
know
like
if you
I
hit it with the
smack its
sharp end or the
torso.
broadside of the sword, but it's gone.
Bones clatter. Okay. And I guess let's see. I guess he would move as well. Let's see, 5, 10. I guess I don't know if I can move diagonally like this.
You
not
can move diagonally if
so-
you have 2 movements. It costs 2 movements.
Okay,
to
so
move diagonally,
I don't
basically.
have any. So I will just move up to here.
Okay, the skeleton can get an attack of opportunity against you. if
Oh,
you do
that's
that,
right,
so
'cause
you
it's
might want to stay there
Yeah,
for
because
now.
the range.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll stay there. So. Mm-hmm.
It doesn't provoke opportunity when you've got enough movement to kind of carefully move around.
gotcha.
But yeah,
Okay.
cool.
Yeah, I'll just stay there then.
Vincent.
So Vincent is going to keep going on to the skeleton that he's been pressing the attack on this whole time, and will swing his sword, kind of arcing it over his head, trying to take the skull off the neck. Hopefully.
I was about to say, I'm so used to like other encounters. How do you know this thing has a skull? No, it's there. It's right there. That's a hit and is an easy decapitation.
Okay. As his bonus action with his shield, he'll kind of try to shove the one next to him vertically away from Sabriel, like up away from him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can't really block or anything, so it just kind of tumbles back.
And then I will move. Can I move here? Is that how that
Yeah.
works? Because
Yeah.
I can just like that. Okay.
Yep.
Then I'll move there. Kind of set myself up in case Sabriel can get in and get a more advantageous position.
Yeah, for the sake of moving, by the way, on Roll20, you can use the arrow keys, which is super useful when you're doing movement like this.
Oh.
There's also another thing you can do, which like spells out the exact movement, and like it shows it.
It
and
confuses me.
It's too much. It's too much.
I
We don't
can't-
need to use that. Speaking of too much, Peep.
All right, so I'm going to move. So that's 10, 15, and then thingy, because pack tactics advantage.
You'd have it. Yeah.
So not another normal hit. Come on. So Peep's gonna like run up, and there's just gonna be like the sound of scraping as like the blade of the greatsword just going along the stones, and then whoof, swing it upwards like a golf club.
Like a golf.
This is it, Peep. This is your moment.
Oh my god!
What do you want to do? What do you want to happen here?
Peep is like running along, just brings it up, and like there's a moment where it like sweeps out a little bit because it's just a little too long and go fully under. Brings it up and just hits the skeleton straight between the legs and up, and just like splits it and scatters it clean in two.
That's gotta hurt.
21 damage. God damn, Peep.
I think
I was just blinking.
Yeah, I think Snow is like about to be ready to go in there to try to help with that last skeleton, but then he's just like his weapon lowers and he just looks at Pete with a look like of surprise.
The skeleton is like now lodged in the roots on the ceiling.
Yeah, the
Vincent
spinal
runs
cord
over
is
and
in
grabs
there.
Peep up and kind of hoists him up on the shoulders. Huzzah! For glory!
Yeah!
As you're celebrating, there is the ka-thunk of more ceramic coffin tops popping open.
A little premature on that. All right, set him down real quick.
Can I use this opportunity to do something?
It happens to the best of us.
It depends if it's free action or in that ilk. What kind of thing?
It would be an action.
Nah, your turn's coming up next though.
Oh, okay, we're still in initiative.
Oh yeah, there's more Skelly boys. Coming from this way. The camera's being just real temperamental today. I'd like to say I'm usually better than this, and this never happens to me, I promise. But so they pop out. Although there's hesitation. There's skeletal hesitation. They pop out as this happens. So they're not going to immediately act in an extreme way. Because they did just see a skeleton get atomized into the ceiling. So they're going to ready bows and ratty old looking arrows and like move into like slightly more comfortable skeletal positions, but they're not going to attack just yet. Sabriel.
Okay. Sabriel's going to do something. That is an action. Okay, where are they? How far away? Okay. I'm gonna... Hold up, I lost count already. What is distance? I don't know. Okay.
What are you trying to work out?
Numbers. Sabriel is going to cast Sacred Flame.
Okay. On which one?
On that one.
Cool. I need to make a roll for that.
He's just gonna hold his hand up, and it's just gonna turn glowy golden and just boof.
Yeah, the
Pointed at
skeleton
him,
is going to
poof.
get hit by it. It kind of tries to move, but not quite fast enough. So they're just...
He's just gonna sword in
Radiance.
one hand, holds the other hand up, and goes boof.
It's clear Sabriel is, he's not invested.
No.
He's in his slippers.
He's got his cup of coffee in one hand.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all he's gonna do.
Snow.
Yeah. So I guess the thing is I want to keep my rage going.
That's true.
So I think what he'll do is he will go. Let me think about this. This right here, this is just like the stairs down.
Yeah, there is a, maybe a 4 to 3 foot rise that you are on the higher end of. So it really matters for people. For you, that is literally in stride, so doesn't matter at all.
Alright. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Moving in closer. And I think that he is, I guess, he's gonna pull out a hand axe that he has on his hip. And he's gonna chuck it at this boy. I guess would he have to drop his greatsword or just drop it to one hand?
No, I'll allow you to one-hand it for throwing a quick
You just can't use it like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So he'll just quickly grab up a hand axe and chuck it at this the skelly there. It'll just be a normal roll, and let's see if that works.
15 is a hit. You don't get the rage bonus, but you do get the regular damage, which is enough for the hand axe to just... I mean, you're still a raging giant. It's still really strong. The hand axe flies through the skeleton and pins its ribcage to the back wall, and it scrabbles for a sec before just clattering into inanimateness.
Nice. Okay. And that'll be it for me.
Vincent!
All right. Let's see. So what I would like to do is progress forward down to, let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 here. So Vincent is moving forward, and as he does, he's praying again. He's grabbing hold of that, and he kind of touches the wounds that the skeleton left in him, and he's going to heal himself for 5 with lay on hands. You just kind of see his hands start to glow that same kind of vibrant bluish color, and he covers the wound and it starts to heal himself. And then he reaches out with the other hand, and as he does, you see this kind of vibrant blue shield start to crackle around Sabriel, protecting it with Shield of Faith, protecting him with Shield of Faith. So
nice.
Let me put that in the chat there.
Yeah. I mean, those ones are classics, but it's still nice to do.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And that will be his turn.
Mm-hmm. Pete, you're a bit far away from
All
everyone
right.
now, and you are only a
Yeah.
small boy.
Yes, but I can run 30 feet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 5 feet, I think. So yeah, that's.
Really? Kobolds have a
Yeah,
30-foot
that's it.
speed. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, they
We
scrabble. It
move
makes
fast,
sense.
we
I would want them to
Scampering.
move 30 feet, but
The issue is now I could. Nah, I.
just charge. Just charge. You know you want to.
Yeah, because it's a bonus. Is it an action or a bonus action to dash?
It's an action to dash.
Action. Okay. Okay, you know what? Peep's excited. Peep's ready. So Peep's gonna take an action to dash. So move another 30 feet. So 1, 2, 3.
Oh, you're gonna action
Two.
surge.
And then action surge to move. Wait, action surge is another action, isn't it? It's not another turn.
Yeah, it's not action.
Because I couldn't move again.
You couldn't move an attack this turn. No, even with action surge.
Yeah. Okay, I'll just leave it there then.
Cool.
Everyone's getting ready, shields up, and then they just hear
Yeah, the skeleton was aiming and drawing an arrow against Sabriel, and then this little thing comes closer and it just turns.
I'm imagining.
Oh no!
I'm imagining. Well, I don't know. I don't want to speak for you, but is the greatsword dragging on the ground behind people?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
There's definitely there's a little pit pat of feet on stone, and then they just
Oh, I crit Peep.
Oh, Peep.
Oh no.
Okay, it's not gonna be that bad.
To be 9
he's
piercing
not a
damage,
cleric.
that's
9?
not great.
Okay, that's fine. I'm still on.
If you consider an average human being has 10 hit points, that's pretty bad.
You're not a cleric, it's fine.
Yeah, but that's probably the worst injury Peep's ever had, as you feel against a cold, just heat, and there's an arrow in you now. That wasn't there before.
Ow.
Sabriel.
You just stood there looking at it.
All momentum stops.
Yeah, just.
Sabriel's kind of done with this fight right now. So he's gonna sheath his sword. And he's gonna just hold his hands out like this, like he's about to draw an arrow, and like a bow of sunlight just forms in his hand, and he just fires it.
It's Clock Tower 3.
At the thing.
For the cultured members of the audience. And that's actually a hit.
Yeah, so he hits it with that, and I forget the house rule. Oh wait, never mind, I don't have it prepared anyway. Ignore me.
Awesome. That does not, maybe to Sabriel's surprise, completely obliterate the skeleton in one hit. Maybe a century ago it would have. But this time it didn't. The skeleton is kind of still emblazoned with light. Probably the arrow stays in, right? This arrow of light of guiding people, because that's badass. But the skeleton is still corporeal.
Yeah, the next attack on it is a advantage.
Mm-hmm. Snow, you're up next.
Yeah, so Snow will just continue advancing. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He'll come up to here, look down at Peep, and be like, "Are you okay, little one?"
Owie!
And after getting a response, which is all you need to make sure that at least Peep is conscious.
If they're screaming, it's okay. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So then he turns to the threat and pulls out his other hand axe. I think he has 2. Yeah, he has 2.
Yeah,
so he pulls out his other. Yeah, he's close enough, but he can't get quite close enough.
It's so funny, the idea of Snow, 9-foot-tall giant, being like 10 foot away from the skeleton and not just not having enough time to get there and just being like,
yeah.
like just.
Yeah.
I've done that attack in like VR games before, where it's like I've got shit and I'm throwing it.
Yeah, and so you definitely hear though, because he does, even these are people he just met. He's still, he cares about human or kobold life, and so he wants to protect Pete. He grabs the hand axe, and still raging, he just goes like, ugh, and like grunts as he puts a lot of effort into this, and we'll see if it pays off. Let's see.
You have advantage.
From the
Guiding Bolt. I got there before you clicked. I never get there before people click.
Yeah, I had to turn off my rage thing too, so.
Yes, that is a hit. And you can hit exactly where that glowing arrow is, and the skeleton is just going to fall apart.
Yeah.
And I think all of you do kind of wait another 6 seconds or so. And no more skeletons rise from... Well, the only other graves were actually outside. These were all the dead here. So you seem to be okay.
Sabriel's gonna go over to Pete. Because inside he's soft for the little cretin.
Ow, 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 ow.
Let me see it.
Yeah, and after kind of like panting and like calming down a bit, then Snow would kind of look at it too.
Sabriel puts a bandage on the boo-boo. With him magic.
What does this look like? What does this feel like for Pete?
Oh,
Or do you want me to do it? I can do it if you want.
No, I can do it. It's fine. He again. Sabriel has magic hands. Okay, Sabriel has the magic hands. So his hands turn like goldy yellow glowiness, and he just touches Peep on the boo-boo.
The arrow in Peep.
Yeah, he just touches it, pulls it out, and tries to smooth it over with his fingers that are glowing and they're warm.
And it does work. This is probably the first time you ever received magical healing, Peep. Maybe a potion before, but like magical healing. And yeah, it recovers the wound. There's probably a missing scale or 2 in the area. But
Okay. That feels weird. Like touches over, like what?
Sabriel gets up and backs away. He's like, I'm not getting all touchy-feely now.
Snow would kind
Before
of
you
give
get a
a
chance. Okay.
Snow would give like a tiny little smile to Peep and be like, "You've had your first injury in combat."
And they made me bet. Peep immediately runs over and hugs Sabriel's leg. Thank you.
Pat, you're welcome, little cretin.
Seems we've survived an onslaught, but why? Why here?
I know it's not in character,
Ask
but
my
I do
friend.
love the idea of Sabriel doing that pose in person while thinking.
Oh, he's doing it.
Oh, he's got like a little Sherlock expression. You could. This could be a wisdom check, or you could make a full-on religion check to kind of like glean more from them. I think it's like a wisdom for just like what they're feeling, and it's more a religion to kind of like learn.
I also have a guess, but I'm not sure that Snow would.
Classic.
Or he's gonna. We'll use religion because wisdom. They weren't being very forthcoming last time. His friends.
Yeah, take the actual time.
Yeah,
What's
he's
that?
gonna sit there. Sabriel's gonna seemingly be sitting there talking to himself in Celestial for a minute.
Which is probably the first time most of you have heard Celestial. Unless, do you know it, Vincent?
I do not.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't use it, know it very much either.
Yeah, I'm not much of the cloistered like church going paladin. That's above my pay grade. I just hit things hard. And
this
then
language
say
wouldn't
from-
even really be used in your church anyway. So I guess for those, it kind of just sounds like Sabriel is kind of singing to himself a little bit, but not words. Almost like practicing chords with one's voice, right?
His accent actually makes more sense in this one too. Like it's his normal speaking language.
Yeah. It's clear when communing with the spirits that you can see all around you. You do not see the spirits of the dead of this place, but the dead of your home, who observe with largely disinterest. But whatever was stolen from this place caused the dead to animate. This is a very deliberate grave. You can just tell from the design, even though you don't know what religion it is, it was very deliberate. There's a lot of care has been put in, although it's a way lower amount of care than you would put into your dead, but what was stolen was clearly an important artifact to the faith of these people, and that was enough to rise the dead from their graves. It is a known thing to happen. Sometimes even a deliberate enchantment upon this place. It doesn't seem like that's the case. It's just kind of... maybe the artifact had enough power that its disappearance would move them.
That was kind of my guess. I feel like Snow might have had like a inkling in the back of his head because he kind of knows some of the tradition around here. But
I don't know. But does Sabriel share this?
He's
occult
going
knowledge?
to, but he's not gonna say how he's acquired this knowledge. He's just gonna be very vague about it, but he's going to explain what you just learned. We'll just say he did.
Yeah. He just relayed that information to the party.
Do we
Snow would
find out
probably
enough
just
to head back and collect our bounty, or
I mean,
is there more to be done here?
what if the thing we saw run off before was the thing that took it?
Snow nods to that.
Because if it had been stolen before, surely he like points to the boat. These would already be up and around.
There is a sharp clattering noise as a skeleton that Peep impaled into the ceiling falls down.
Oh,
It doesn't move. It just makes a hell of a noise as it clatters into the ground as a pile of bones.
Sabriel just looks at his friends like,
oh, I have got an old heart. You can't be doing that. Whew.
Well, we kind of dealt with this, but I think there's more.
Can we find a trail for the creature that left?
It's a strong blizzard. It would be very hard, but it might be possible with a really good survival check.
I'm gonna try.
Snow would,
I have a horrible survival.
if Snow
Yes.
sees you doing it, he'll kind of like step in and be like, I'm used to this if you would like me to look.
You can assist each other and give one person advantage.
Yeah.
So you could assist Snow, essentially.
Yeah, he'll do that because I have a +2 to survival. I don't know.
I have a 4, so
Okay.
I will, yeah. And so I don't know if this would, I don't know if I'll put it in chat. I don't know, this wouldn't really affect it necessarily because it's probably not in sight.
No,
But,
it's more the footprints and stuff it left would just be fading very quickly. Some trails are easier to see in snows like this, but most are harder.
Okay. So just a
survival with advantage.
Okay.
While they're doing that, Vincent is clutching that ring again. He's walking around, and his eyes go that same bright blue, and he's doing divine sense again just to make sure they've eradicated any traces of undead in this area.
Yeah, there's nothing
60
more feeling like it's going to rise. This place feels strenuously peaceful, although it does feel like a piece of this place is missing. But it's almost an energy that you're not familiar with, actually. I'm just going to check something real quick. So you do see a trail, Snow. You see footprints of this creature. They are large, but humanoid. In fact, you can quite easily recognize that it is clearly some kind of giant. It also seemed to have either very unkept toenails or claws, and occasionally stumbles onto all fours. That's all you get looking at it from afar. You do have enough of a trail to follow it, if you wish to do so. But that would be taking people out into a blizzard. It was traveling fast, but you think you could travel probably as fast, although now it has a good 10-minute lead or so on you. What might be a better thing is to just kind of note what these footprints look like for later.
Yeah. I don't think that Snow would want to take the group out into the blizzard like that, you know. Yeah, but he would definitely share this with the group. Probably Savriel, who was about to look at it, and basically, or helped him look at it, and basically, yeah, explain that this is some sort of giantoid creature. He would note the part about it like going on all fours occasionally. Especially, he'd be like, I don't know, because I don't know. Is that familiar to him?
From the giants you've encountered, which is more than most people, not very common.
Yeah.
You don't think you'd know any giants that would do that other than just for fun. You know some giants who do that for fun after drinking some, mead. But
Going up giant stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. He would. He'd probably just look a little unsettled by it. Yeah.
How big are the footprints in comparison to Peep?
Peep could lie down. Like there's probably one. Like, this is a good check. There's probably one footprint that is just in a nook where it hasn't been filled in by blizzard snow, and you can kind of examine this one closer. And Peep can lay in the footprint. Your tail doesn't fit, but your body does.
Yeah. So you're talking at least like, basically like a 3-foot foot.
Yeah.
That's a big foot with a lot of foot
and
to it.
Does the foot look more humanoid, or does it look more animalistic?
It's the majority. It looks like just a very large human footprint, but there is a little bit, like, there is the indent of claws or something. Not to the point of, like, paws, but a human footprint with claws.
Okay.
But 3 foot. But
I don't think we should go out in the blizzard.
No.
No, we shouldn't.
Should we hunker down here and wait for it to pass? I feel a calm in this area now. I think we've rid the area of any evil that was purveying before. We could try to cover this up and rest and try to wait the storm to pass.
Yeah, I think Snow would just nod to that and look at the others. I guess I don't know how long did it actually take us to get here when we.
That's a good point. I did gloss by that. I think probably you knew where you were going. 2.5 hours from town.
Okay.
I mean, if you kind of don't count going through town, which I rarely do, because it's easier to just say you leave town. So probably 2.5 hours trek. So not that far.
Okay. Yeah, I guess Snow would just suggest that we have like a watch order that we set up because he doesn't want that thing to sneak up on us.
Blinks an elf.
They probably don't know that elves don't sleep.
As we kind of settle in and to do that, Vince will pull out a deck of cards and start shuffling. Anybody interested in playing a game or two?
Are these playing cards?
They are indeed.
Okay.
Anybody interested in playing a hand?
People looks around if no one else does. Like, I wanna see. I wanna play.
All right. What games do you know?
None.
Well, then we'll get to learn, won't we?
I'm learning so many things today.
And he'll just start dealing out. We'll start with something easy and start with Go Fish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something I think you would have noticed, Vincent, in traveling, is that no one really plays with playing cards. They're not like completely they're not a rare forbidden knowledge object or anything. But it's like people are like, oh, what games do you want to play on? And Peep is not the first person you've done this to, and they've not known what's about it. You're not sure if it's different customs or just that you're getting old.
Fair enough. You will notice Peep as he's dealing out the cards. They are old and kind of tattered and well worn and used. They've been used for years.
Pete holds onto them very carefully. Like tips of the doesn't tries to keep the claws off, like just to hold them like flat like that. Keep the nails away.
And I'll commence to just kind of walking Pete through how to play Go Fish, and we'll play a hand or two of that while we try to wait the storm out.
Yeah, do you guys want to take a short rest or a long rest here, or not? Just want to be completely alert the whole time. It's not like you guys actually need to sleep or anything like that. What do you think?
I'm thinking just a short rest, just to if anybody needs to heal up anymore, anything like that, just to kind of take a breather. And we just got attacked by skeletons. That's kind of a big deal.
Sure, Sabriel doesn't care either way because a short rest does nothing for a cleric. So
yeah, an hour is nothing to Sabriel.
He's like, this kobold's been alive 5 minutes. He's just gonna go sit in the corner and dick around with his book. He's just gonna sit with his book.
Yeah, short rest sounds good.
Go ahead and roll your hit dice. You're not going to be disturbed. This place is peaceful, and there is a big hole. There's 2 big holes, and it makes a perfect draft. So you kind of need to set up in one of the corners. But there are, I didn't put all the decorations on the map because it already started to creak. But there are places you can kind of sit that aren't coffins and things. And it's probably not even so much that you bandage wounds and stuff. Your wounds were patched up by healing magic. So it's just taking that breather, playing some cards, being away from the cold for a moment or two, does a world of benefit. What do you want to do during this rest, Snow?
Snow would just kind of go sit in a different corner, kind of be watching the card games, but then after a while he might actually like pull out of his like sack, like he might pull out his instrument actually, and just kind of do a little bit of playing on his instrument, which is a sort of rustic, like very basic accordion. It's not going to be a super finely crafted one. It's more like this is a bunch of lumberjacks and whoever else who you know have passed down this sort of technology to make these basic accordions. That's what I'm imagining it. I don't know, does that fit? Yeah, and he would actually try to remember he would try to remember as best he can, because most of the time he probably just screws around on it, but he would try to remember as best as he could, like a solemn song, like in memory of the dead from the people he grew up with and was raised by.
Yeah, you have no idea what culture these skeletons belong to, but you can give me a roll. Why don't you give me a roll for your, I was going to say trombone, for your accordion. It's not necessarily how well you play, it's kind of, do you remember a song? Do you get the right vibe?
Would it be a performance check, or
if you have the skill for trombone, accordion, I don't know where that's coming from. I have no clue. Yeah. It's like it's an invasive
We need to get him
thought.
a trombone now.
If you have a skill for it, roll that. If not, roll performance.
Yeah, he has he has proficiency in it. So I guess it would just be +2.
You can put that in the sheet as a custom skill.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that in a second. But for now, I'm just gonna roll it raw. So it'll be +2.
I need to do that for his flute. By the way, I don't know how to do that.
We'll do that at some point.
Yeah,
you do remember a tune. Giants have many songs, especially the ones you have lived with for a long time, and being fairly long-lived creatures, death is really sad, especially this song in Giant, if you were to do the lyrics, which you don't entirely remember, is essentially about how there's no afterlife for giants, not anymore. And that's why it's really sad. It's a dirge. So it perfectly fits the vibe you're going for. Is pretty peaceful for the atmosphere in the chamber and the wind, and the song sounds right with the wind as well, as a giant's song would in the giant's homelands.
People notice right away Vincent kind of gets lost in the song and kind of forgets what he's doing and kind of just listens and takes it in and stops playing entirely and forgets where he is and until it stops, and then he comes back to reality, but he's just in it.
Really pretty.
Thank you.
That Rail's not gonna say anything. He's just kind of watching out the door.
In a
Beyond
period,
that, Snow's not doing anything else.
yeah, on that period of an hour, the blizzard has died down somewhat. It's still snowing. It's going to be snowing for the next 3 months, probably. But it's not as rough, especially on the way back to Lendr. Would still be rough going further west towards where this giant went. But possible if you did want to try and follow any kind of trail. Again, it would be hard, but you do know what you're looking for. Or you could go back to Lendr and give to basically tell Smartman what happened here, or you can do more investigations here, maybe in the outside area, now that the snows have died down. What are you guys thinking?
What do you think, Snow? Is it safe enough to pass now?
We could probably make it back to the city or go after the creature.
I think we need to figure out what that creature was and figure out what it wanted if we're going to go back and collect our bounty. If we're being honest with our employer and really want to do our due diligence.
Snow nods and he's like, I'm curious to see what this creature is.
As am I.
I guess Snow would look at the other two, at Peep and Sabriel.
Tyrell I don't like leaving jobs half finished.
Guess we could look for it for a while, and if it gets too dangerous, we can come back. So we may as well go looking for it.
So it is then.
I'm gonna go
Onward
get
it
my
is.
horse.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
we
I'll
haven't seen them.
walk with Sabriel and go get mine as well.
Yeah, that's true. We haven't. I forgot.
You got
Yeah,
horses.
are they okay?
Yeah, they're fine.
My horse.
It
my
wasn't
horse
a
has
really
no
bad.
name.
It wasn't a blizzard.
Okay.
They get worse.
Yeah. All right.
Are the badgers still around, or have they?
Oh
ducked
yeah,
and hid?
they're still around. They're skulking and circling their little area.
We just kind of go around.
I'm
them
going
again.
to. I would like to pull out some rations from my explorer's pack and kind of just break them up into small pieces and approach and try to make an animal handling check just to get near them.
Sure.
Not in a menacing way. I'm actually
Yeah.
trying to get near them so I can lift the piece of whatever's fallen over the ruin has fallen over on their nest.
Animal handling check first.
Okay.
And then we'll see if you can even get close enough before getting mauled by a badger.
Yeah, Snow is just gonna watch this.
Hell yeah! You can absolutely approach the badgers, distracting them enough with the food and also just kind of walking carefully to get up to where their den is. That's the term for a badger nest. I just remembered it. It's a den. It'll be an athletics check to heave the rock off their den.
I like the term badger nest though.
That's where they keep the eggs. Yeah, it's actually not all that difficult to you. You have opposable thumbs and leverage. You can push this out of the way. Although, it might be one of those things that... I mean, you saw Vincent fight the rest of the party, but this is a fairly old man doing a fairly heavy lift without much difficulty. So it is impressive. The badgers would immediately get kind of aggressive, and then they would kind of realize what you did, but they're still animals. They don't really like.
They're still
connect,
badgers.
but
Yeah.
they're just.
I'm just trying to help them. I don't expect
Yeah.
anything from them to follow me or anything, but just
But you
to
did a good
help them
deed
out a little bit.
for nature.
Yeah. So I'll kind of push that off to the side and then head on to get my horse past that point, leaving them alone the whole time.
Nice. Do you want to take the horses west and try and follow these tracks, trying to get a lead on the trail?
I think that is the plan.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
we should leave the horses behind. So. Okay.
Gabriel cares enough about his horse to not want it to get eaten by something.
Yeah.
It probably would. Just wolves or
It's
something.
not his horse, so he doesn't care that much.
Of course. Go ahead and give me another survivor with advantage, Snow. This is kind of thing where everyone is keeping an eye out for the tracks, so
Yeah.
it makes sense to give you advantage.
Okay. Let's see.
We'll see
what I
if you
can
pick
do.
anything up. You do already know what the trail looks like, but there was a blizzard, there was heavy snows.
Oh
It rolled from an 18 to a 4 at the last second.
Yeah, for some reason that's not showing up on stream, but whatever. Double eights. Impressive. But failure. You head out that way for an hour or so. The trail has gone cold. With footprints and handprints refilled by the blizzard of the snow. But you do look, because you know what the footprints look like. If maybe there was an imprint in the mud, it got kind of frozen or something. Like, Snow, you know how to hunt in these kind of terrains. Even hunting large animals, in fact. But it seemed either this giant was clever enough to kind of not cover its tracks, but not leave really obvious tracks, or just really bad luck. because it's just you're not getting anything. You could keep wandering for a long time and kind of look, basically, go, oh, okay, I'll try and think the way that giant thought and try and see if I find something, but you're not certain you would.
Peep has an idea.
Oh no.
Okay. So this is like relatively like thick snow, as in like, if you drop Peep in it, Peep would like just get buried.
There's some areas
right?
where it's more like full floor snow, like
hard,
it's solid.
yeah.
But most the blizzard snow is pretty soft.
What I'm thinking is, Peep's small enough that he could go into the snow and like dig a little, and snow that's been stepped on would be harder and more compacted than the snow that's just fallen in.
Yeah.
So can Peep make a survival check to try and find the tracks that way?
Sure.
All
It makes a lot of
Come on,
sense.
Peep. No,
Can I tie something to Peep so we don't lose him?
Nah, Peep's
Well-
sword is always out.
Yeah, it's like an
It's-
antenna, just stick it out. Not enough?
Not enough.
Not enough.
Not enough. Good idea, but not enough. You try
Yeah.
for a little longer. It's like when you realize you lost a trail, you can have Peep root around in the snow for a bit. No.
You guys would definitely tell that when it becomes clear we're not finding anything. Snow looks a little embarrassed because like this is his home turf kind of. He definitely has a bit of embarrassment on his face.
You've embarrassed me in front of the elf.
Yeah.
Vincent will look over at Snow and kind of notice that embarrassment and say, "Don't worry, the gods shine on all of us from time to time. Your turn will come again."
Peep like bursts out of the snow and shakes it off. You can always come back and try later. I'm sure we'll find it somewhere.
Bro,
Maybe.
Picks him up by the collar and sets him back down on Vincent's horse.
Thank you.
We could. Well, do you think that it'll return to the graves?
Judging by what we just saw, do I think that it probably came and got what it came for and probably wouldn't return, or how do I feel about that?
If there was anything else it would be interested in, you didn't see it, but you also didn't investigate the place.
Yeah. Yeah, Snow would suggest the idea that maybe we could like wait for it there, but he doesn't seem too convinced that would work.
Well, we know which
Maybe.
direction it went off in. If we follow it for long enough, we might see some tracks later on down the path.
Maybe.
If you all are willing to perhaps have to camp out here, we might get too far to make it back today.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think Snow would basically leave it to the group because he's like, he
Yeah,
feels pretty comfortable pushing on, but he also,
it's very
doesn't
comfortable in
know.
the snow and
yeah,
outside
he
of
doesn't
town.
know how good you guys are going to be with it.
Sabriel's fine with continuing on. He's been in worse situations.
Peep's a little bit of a cold bald right now, but he's willing to keep going.
The Dragon King will protect us.
Okay,
All right.
so your plan
Press
is to
on.
trudge out further into the snow, into the hills, and see what
Hope-
you find. Which is
Hope you're already rolling new characters. We're gonna
I-
die out in the snow.
it's an excellent place for us to end today's session.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
good stopping point.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow! What a good time. What some fun characters. Who knows? Who knows what kind of kooky hijinks they'll get into?
I loved Peep's crit on the one skeleton.
That was great.
It was
No.
so perfect.
Yeah, first crit was Peep with the greatsword.
So good.
You can't write that. That just had to happen
Yeah,
so
naturally.
good.
Mwah.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a good time. I'm really excited to see what's going to happen and what these characters are going to grow into, basically. But that's all for today's session. I'll talk a bit more about other sessions and other things we have going on, but first, why don't we let the players talk about themselves and what they do, starting with Zach up here. Who are you? What do you do? What do you got to sell us?
So I am an up-and-coming D&D creative on Twitter. You can find me at Next Level TTRPG. Actually, I think it's at Next TTRPG technically, but I am at Next Level TTRPG, and also I'm just starting off my own little Twitch channel, kind of budding. Ollie was nice enough to invite me on here so I can kind of learn and kind of get the feel of it, because I've never got to do this way. So I'm just kind of get my feet wet in this arena. So I'm very excited to be here. It's really cool. Come check me out. I do things like just play random video games, talk about world building, talk about my world, and eventually I'm going to be putting together a D&D stream, and I hope to see some of you guys over there as well. But that'll be down the road. So thank you very much for having me. I'm excited to be back next week and continue on.
Nice. Yeah, well, I'm glad to have you. It's like I said, it's been the first time I've had an entirely new cast, I think, ever. There's always been like someone who's been connected in some way. So super different. So it's wild. Next up, poetry. Who are you? What do you do?
Yeah. So I mostly just stream video games. Sometimes I'll work on some other projects, but mostly just stream games. Lately, been doing a lot of Monster Hunter, and I don't know, just variety stream stuff at twitch.tv/poetrystudgaming. But that's about it for me. And yeah, I'm also excited to continue. This is my first time being on a show like this, and it's already a lot of fun.
Awesome. I think of all the characters, it's like some you kind of know like kind of where they're gonna go. I don't really know what's gonna happen with Snow. Snow's very Snow could kind of well, that's good, you know. Snow could kind of end up as anything, even though there's a lot of interesting stuff already going on. It's neat.
I'm excited to see what happens. Yeah.
Pete, Quill, why don't you talk about who you are and what you do?
Yes, I am a voice actress and YouTube shitposter. You can find me on Twitter at VoiceQuills. You can also find me on YouTube at VoiceQuills. And I'm planning at some point when I hit 5k subs on YouTube, a charity stream on my Twitch, which is at VoiceQuills. So if you enjoy any of the shenanigans I've done with Peep, as well as anything, I normally do memes of anything from Elder Scrolls to Beans. So if you like stupid shit,
it was good Beans memes. They're good Beans memes.
Beans.
That last one was really good.
I'm getting those beans. So yeah, feel free to follow me. Check out my stuff. I try and post at least something every day. So YouTube and Twitter is where it's at.
Awesome.
And yeah, thank you again for having me on. It's been great. It's the first time I've done this kind of thing, and it's been absolutely fantastic.
I'm just grabbing up all the new talent, and it's mine. Then you're grandfathered in, and you're trapped forever.
That's it.
Speaking of Ori,
Hi.
who are you? What is you?
Unfortunately, this is not my first D&D Twitch show, so I can't claim that today. I am a veteran of the D&D Twitch. But I do the arts for various tabletop publishers and such. My most recent thing was for D&D Adventurers League for the Witchlight shit that I can't remember the name of. But I do that. I will draw your characters. I will draw. You pay me, I'll draw it. I have some things I will not draw, but we'll talk about that.
And there's Sabrael art. There already is.
Yeah, I've done Sabrael's art. Yeah, I did Sabrael's art. I did my own art. I'm the Lady Ori everywhere except for one place, but
I was gonna say
the Lady Ori with the underscores. There's one place that is not.
I don't know many people with branding as good as Quill there. Most people
so
have one link that's fucked.
I made a mistake at one point and tried to rebrand myself as Tired Vampire. And it didn't work, but I couldn't change my username back on Picarto for what it needed, what the current brand is. And so yeah, but yeah, no, commissions will be reopening this week. Actually, if you want to, just email me. I have a list that I'm working through, but I have bills to pay because this is my job. So if you need art, let me know. I also shitpost frequently on my Twitter, so you have been forewarned.
Awesome. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here, everyone. This is when I talk a bit about the show. Usually I have one of my cronies do it for me, but none of you are brainwashed enough yet. This show is supported by Patreon. There's also another show on Wednesdays. If you like Jarviskjir, if you like this vibe, there is a Wednesday show. It's very different because it takes place in the Underrealm, a completely different society with completely different creatures, and it's not just D&D staples. That campaign started as Ebamari Mind Flayer Diplomacy, where the Mind Flayers are the universally nicest faction in the dark. And it's gotten very different. In fact, we're probably going to start Chapter 3 of that campaign soon, so that would be a good time to start it. If you are interested, there's also another show on Patreon. For $5 a month or more, you actually get access to 2 new shows and a backlog of all the old Monday shows. They are done as audio podcasts, so you can just kind of chill and relax and listen to them. The current Monday game is also wrapping up. It is a seafaring game, where they are trying to destroy, their villain is a giant mermaid, literally, and that's the goal, is killer. And there is also a campaign that seems very similar to Pokemon. It can't be, but it seems very similar to a Pokemon tabletop game, and it's very fun, very chill. We do that once every other week. And of course, I stream here when I can. It's a little haphazard at the moment because there's a lot of stuff going on, so I let you know on Discord. You should totally join the Discord if you're interested. We talk about the games, we talk about the shows, we also talk about Schism Immolation of Oakenfur. It's a board game series, it's a fast-paced skirmisher, it says on the game. It says it takes around 25 minutes a game, but once you know what you're doing, it can be like 15 minutes. It's real quick. You can crack out a few games. This game takes place in Oakenfur. Oakenfur, if you look at the map, is just above where these guys are right now. It's where the Northmen originate from. So if you like this area, check out this game. It has miniatures of Jarviskjir lore. No kobolds or giant bloods yet, but check out the Kickstarter when it goes live. There might be some stuff that tickles your fancy. And that's all. We're actually going to leave you now and say a little thank you to Patreon supporters, and then we'll see you all next week. Hopefully. See you then.